What's up, everyone, and welcome to a very special Saturday morning. Well, Saturday afternoon, I guess. It's almost 12 o'clock, but it's a Saturday live stream. I'm your host, Albert Albanese, and this is the Slam Sessions. And I decided just to kind of pop on because I haven't been on in a little bit ever since my live stream with Tamara, which went very well, by the way. Thank you guys for for all who attended. Thank you for being there. King Kaido, what's up, buddy? Um, so I figured I'd just pop on for a bit, say hello to you guys, let you guys know that I'm planning on doing the live stream that we would usually do on Dave's channel here Monday night during Raw. The past couple of weeks, I wasn't able to do it. Even if Dave was able to, I actually wasn't available. But this guy will be. So there we go. If you guys are bored on Monday and want to hang out, come check me out. I don't know if I'll be on the entire time, like the entire time during Raw, because I'll be honest with you guys, it's difficult to be. It's easy when me and Dave do things together because I can take a step back and let Dave talk for a little bit, and when Dave gets a little bit tired of talking, he can take a step back and let me do the heavy lifting for a little while. But recently, when I'm by myself, it's a little bit difficult to kind of to keep myself going for 3 hours. So hopefully we'll do maybe from like 8 to 10 or like 8 to 9:30, something around like that. But if you guys are available, come join me. Mr. J, how are you, man? Degenerate. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining. So like I said, I came on here really just because I haven't been on in a while, but also there was something happened to me this morning that was just ironic and made me laugh. So I decided, you know what? I want to just, get it off my chest, and I want to just like talk about it. And I know that if I come on here and talk about it with you guys, things naturally usually go well when I go other places and see people, and have conversations about this kind of stuff. It's usually more of a tumultuous conversation. But this isn't anything bad, and it's nothing negative. It's just, again, like I would say, 75% of this channel, it's the majority of me disliking wrestling fans. Vinny Montaigne, long time no see. How are you, buddy? So I was on Twitter this morning, and I'm getting better at the Twitter, by the way. I know that's like, somehow, I don't know how, Dave circumvented the process of getting himself over and not doing it on social media, which to me, I think speaks volumes to how well Dave does on his channel and how great his videos are and how great you guys are in his live stream, which adds, so much more to his product. But he was able to get himself over without the benefit of going on Twitter. Me, not so much. I'm still at like 112 subscribers. So I think I need to kind of just like get more people to know who I am. So I've just done the Twitter thing more, hoping that people see my profile, click on, and even if they click on one of my videos, and even if they hate me, hey, that's a little bit more than I had before. So that's kind of where I was going this morning. In case you missed it, yes, I am wearing a Friends shirt. And this is I haven't changed out of my pajamas yet. It's a Saturday morning. I'm sitting there and I'm scrolling through. Oh, Vinny, we'll get into that. That's a good call, actually. We're going to definitely get into that. Remind me, before I go, I'm definitely going to get into that because that's huge. Something I really did want to talk about. True Sinister, what's up, buddy? Got 5 of you on here. You guys all like the video. This is why you guys are the best. We need to come up. We have like, we need like a name for you guys. I don't know. The Slammers? I don't know. I don't think that works. I don't know. I'll think of something. But anyway, so I'm on Twitter doing my normal thing, and somebody posts, can anybody who doesn't like Kenny Omega please tell me why they don't like Kenny Omega? So I commented and said something along the lines of, it's not that I dislike Kenny Omega. He's just not the best in the world to me. And I don't dislike, the Slam Jammers. That's not bad, actually. It sounds like something out of like a 1990s WWE commercial. But this week, the WWE Slam Jam. They think he's silly. Look, here's the thing. I like Kenny. I do. And my response was, The one thing I don't like about Kenny Omega is Kenny Omega fans, because most of the time when I have a general conversation about who I think is the greatest wrestler currently right now, who I think is the best wrestler in the world right now, and my answer, my opinion, my personal opinion, and this is not, based in any sort of fact or whatever, my opinion is that it's Finn Balor. But if I say that, people will be like, get all mad, and they start to try to have to prove to me that Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world today. Look, you're not going to change my opinion. My opinion is formulated on my personal tastes. I like Kenny Omega a lot, but the one thing that I don't like is that the internet keeps constantly trying to tell me that I have to accept that Kenny Omega is one of the best or the only or the best, the absolute best wrestler in the world right now. See, Vinny, that's your opinion. You said, and I like that. The way you phrase that is perfect. Darby Allin, for me, is the best. I wholeheartedly disagree. I like Darby Allin. I don't think he's the best, but I respect that it's your opinion. And that's fine for me. If you believe in your heart of hearts that anytime you turn on wrestling, that Darby Allin is the one who gives you everything you want, that's awesome. I'm so glad you found that guy, because that guy for me was missing for a very long time. I went back and forth before Finn Balor was really, in WWE. I went back and forth on the who's your favorite wrestler right now conversation a lot, because I didn't have a guy. And when Balor finally came over from New Japan and I got to see Balor on a weekly or semi-weekly basis, because NXT was an hour show and not everybody was on every week, I, just went, it was over the moon. Like Finn was my guy, and Finn's been my guy since then. Before that, I can probably say maybe I floated around with the ideas of guys like Cesaro, Seth Rollins. Rollins was up there for a long time for me too. But my thing is this, that's my guy. So I understand that when people hear, hey, how come you don't like Kenny Omega? And then so I come on and say, hey, look, for me, his IWGP title reign was a bit meh. And when you're going to, people are making up 7-star matches for you when, a rating is 5, and everybody's agreeing when those matches aren't anywhere near on the level. And Dave and I talk about this all the time ad nauseum when we talk about Kenny Omega. The Omega and Okada matches were great, but I still think the Okada versus Tanahashi matches are 10 times better. So you're not going to get that from me. And that's fine. That's totally fine. That's my opinion. That's also not me saying I dislike Kenny Omega, because I actually really do enjoy Kenny Omega's work. I think that he's a great worker. I don't like his promo style. It's not for me. And I also don't think that, he's the greatest in the world right now. But I admit, is he in like the top, like if I had to make a list of the top 20 wrestlers that are wrestling right now, and I had to just include WWE, AEW, and Impact Wrestling talent, Kenny's going to be on that list somewhere. But he's probably not going to be in my top 5, and maybe not in my top 10, which is why I said 20. But that's my opinion. If we're going to also base this argument in facts, though, you have to understand that every single one of actually, hold on, before I get into this, let me catch up on the chat. People say Balor's too small. I love Balor. Same here. True Sir, I love Finn Balor. He's my favorite. Finn Balor's up there. He's a great technician. See, Vinny, and Balor talked in an interview recently that he changed his style when he came to WWE to adapt to a more WWE style, and now he's wrestling for Finn Balor. And I think you can see it. I'm not against size, really. Most of my favorite wrestlers are usually under 250 pounds. And Kaito, yeah, I wouldn't say most, but yeah, actually maybe most, because if I go over if I go to my top 10, I would say maybe there's 2 guys on there that are over that 250 pound mark. If my top 3, Savage is borderline, but he was, I think, really right around like 240. Jericho maybe now is like in the 240 range, but wrestled most of his career at like the 225, 230 range. And Balor is barely even 200 pounds. Bryan is barely even 200 pounds. Brett is in that 240 range. Those are my guys, and yeah, when it comes to size, that doesn't matter to me. If you put on a good match and you're believable, that's fine by me. Somebody also argued with me the other day that he didn't feel that Bret Hart was a top tier talent. He never bought him as a main event guy. That's his opinion. I think that's bogus, but I respect the fact that that was that guy's opinion. He didn't crap on Bret. He said he's a great technician, he's a great wrestler. I just never bought him as a main event guy. Cool. That's your opinion. You see, I didn't try to convince him that he was a main event guy, because that's not my thing. I don't need to do that. I saw someone say that Luchasaurus is slow. He's big. That's okay with me. I like Braun before most people give him a chance. I don't think Luchasaurus is slow at all. I think for his size, he's deceptively fast. I like Luchasaurus. I'm not crazy about the whole gimmick thing, but I think it adds a lot. And I think kudos to Tony Khan for getting that song for Jungle Boy. That's huge, in my opinion. I think that's great. So let's see. Do you agree with some people by saying Moxley is a modern day Brian Pillman? Moxley is better than Kenny, in my opinion. I would probably say that Moxley's probably better, in my opinion, than Kenny, too. Again, my opinion. Modern day Brian Pillman? Sure. I think he's trying, and I don't know if he's trying to, or it's what AEW is trying to do with him, or it's just where the character went. I think he's trying to be Stone Cold Steve Austin a little bit too much for my liking. But if you're going to emulate somebody, emulate the best of all time. And by numbers, Stone Cold Steve Austin is the best of all time. When someone says Kenny is the best in the world, I respect and understand. When Tony Khan says Moxley is also the best, that seems like an odd choice. It's like he's trying to put over his own main event. Of course he is. I remember not buying Jericho as a main event guy back in the day when WWE first pushed him. See, truth is, a lot of people are like that. A lot of people can't see that a guy like a Kofi Kingston, a lot of people got mad when he won the world title. There was a very large, don't get me wrong. There's a small amount of people, but there were a small amount of people, and I understood where they were coming from, that saw Kenny, a guy like, Jericho, or a guy like Kofi, as a main event, a middle of the road guy for a very long period of time. That he wasn't a main event guy. He was a mid carder, and then they try to push him up to that level, and sometimes people just don't buy it. And I get it. I understand that when you see a guy like Kofi, where he's been marred in the mid card for such a long time and really hasn't been given a super high amount of chances to prove that he's a main event player, it's hard sometimes to let them to see that. And I understand that. I'm totally okay with that. I disagree, but that's it. But like that's my opinion. Again, like I'm not going to argue with somebody over that. That's the way you feel. I'm not in the business of changing the way people feel. If people feel that Kenny Omega is the greatest wrestler in the world, that is your opinion, and I totally understand that. But don't get into an argument with me about facts, because when you get into an argument about facts, when you're trying to base who the best wrestler in the world is, Kenny doesn't come near that top of the list, because you can combine everything he's done in AEW and New Japan, and it doesn't even come anywhere close to the numbers that a guy like Roman Reigns is drawing on SmackDown. And I'm not saying that Roman Reigns is a better wrestler than Kenny Omega, but when you say somebody is the best in the world, you have to take everything into the equation. And that's the reason why when people talk about Shawn Michaels, and I can say this on this stream because Dave won't be here to yell at me about it. When people sit there and talk about Shawn Michaels as being, in their opinion, the greatest professional wrestling in-ring performer of all time, I don't get mad at that, because that's, again, an opinion thing. And if people believe that Shawn is the best in-ring performer of all time, that's their opinion, and that's okay. And I can see where people think that. But when people tell me that Shawn is the best wrestler of all time, that takes into a whole nother equation of other things. It takes into drawing power. It takes into having matches with anybody. It takes into backstage politics. It takes into a lot of different things. For me, I like Shawn, but he's not the best wrestler of all time. Shawn didn't outdraw Hogan. Shawn didn't outdraw Cena. Shawn absolutely didn't come anywhere near the numbers that Stone Cold was pushing, made. It's the same thing with Bret. Bret, in my opinion, is the best wrestler of all time. I don't think there's a better in-ring wrestler than Bret Hart. Kurt Angle is close. Daniel Bryan in his Ring of Honor runs, and his early WWE stuff where he was a lot more technical, and actually now being that he's getting to be a lot more technical because he's not doing a lot more of the high impact stuff because of his injuries. They come close, but to me, it's Bret. But I'm never going to say Bret was the best wrestler of all time. If you say, in your opinion, who's the best wrestler of all time, I'll probably come out and say either Macho, Jericho, or Bret. One of the three. Depends on how I feel. I'd probably at some point name all three of them in that conversation. But if you ask me who's the best wrestler of all time, who is the best wrestler of all time, I will always say Stone Cold Steve Austin, because Austin was the full package. For me, in my opinion, one of the best days. Look, Vinny, you're not going to get a lot of argument with me about Cody. I like Cody a lot. I think Cody's got a great promo. Cut's a great promo. I think he's great in the ring. I just shudder to think what the internet would have done to WWE and how bad Triple H and Stephanie McMahon would have been crucified if they did a gender reveal on Raw or SmackDown. Can you imagine that? And that's, again, this is not a Cody thing. That's fine. If that's what he wanted to do and he knew his fans were going to be okay with it, that's okay. But what gets me mad is that, the fans don't say anything negative about that. It's the same thing as like when Miro, they're like, here he comes. He's in a cuck angle and he's in a stupid wedding angle. And, Miro's, being booked like trash. And then he comes in and gets booked as a best friend in another wedding angle. And everybody was all like, that was so cool. Orange Cassidy was in the cake. Miro was in a cake a year ago. And everybody said it was the worst thing ever. But when AEW does it, it's the best thing ever. Hypocrisy of wrestling fans. I hate that shit. Oh God, it feels so good. I keep remembering I click this video isn't made for kids tab every time I do this because it gives me the freedom to curse. And I'm going to try to watch my mouth a little bit more because eventually if I do try to monetize this channel, I don't want there to be too much profanity, but whatever. Who do you prefer, Moxley or Reigns? I think it's close. It's very close in my book. Right now, Roman. If you would have asked me this a year ago, when Roman was, out and, COVID and all that kind of stuff. Andy Ruiz, what's up, buddy? I probably would have said Mox because Mox was doing great work. I think that Mox has cooled a little bit. And I think that Roman right now, in my opinion, is untouchable. I think his matches are good. I think he's gotten, as a heel, his ring work has improved. He's added more to his repertoire. He's chain wrestling more. He's, doing different moves. He's fighting more. Like, there's so much more that Roman's doing that makes me believe that Roman right now is one of the best, if not the best thing going in wrestling right now. He's at least the most interesting right now, in my opinion. But it's close. It depends. It really just depends on the climate. I think when Roman calms down, if Mox amps up his game even harder to where he was, when he was in this, initial feud with Kenny Omega, and before that, when he was in his title run, his feud with MJF, to me, at this point, is one of the feuds of the year in 2020. But yeah, right now it's Roman. But like I said, if this was a couple of months ago, I probably would have said Mox. Speaking of drawing tablet, do you agree that people saying Triple H is the guy that worked with the guy that drew the money? Yes, 100%. 100%. And that's the thing. A lot of people use that as a negative about Triple H. That's a positive. Those guys were drawing top money, and Triple H was the guy they were able to draw that top money with. I don't think that's a negative thing. I know that Dave will disagree, and he'll tell me, "Oh, Triple H is, horribly, the ratings went down right after when Triple H was champion." But we're not taking into account that when Triple H was champion and the ratings went down, they lost the two of the four biggest draws in the history of professional wrestling in a 2-year span in Rock and Austin. That's going to be hard for anybody to carry. And they put a lot of pressure on Triple H to try to do that. And they brought in Goldberg to try to help with that. And they brought in other guys. They brought back Austin to try to be, an on-screen character to get people in. It's just hard when Austin's not the focal point anymore. Austin was a focal point of Raw since 1997. Possibly even, if you want to count it, the end of 96. Survivor Series, 96. It's hard. But yeah, he definitely was. I like Edge because he seems so much like a realistic guy and a cool one as opposed to an over-the-top stereotypical character. True story, so that was my draw for Edge too. And I also really liked when Edge turned heel because it was kind of just like, hey, what are you talking about? Like, I was the guy that everybody liked. You guys all liked me. And now all of a sudden, like, you guys all turn your back on me. And remember, Edge started getting booed before the whole Matt Hardy thing. Edge started getting booed because when he came back from injury, it just seemed like he just wasn't the same guy. And I think there was a lot of ring rust still left on him. And people started booing him. It got exacerbated, don't get me wrong, by Matt Hardy. Don't get me wrong, that's where his full-fledged heel turn came in. But it was the perfect catalyst for his heel turn because everybody was in love with Edge for a very long period of time. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, no, screw Edge. So, Edge, that was Edge's, appeal to me as well. Stone Cold was one of the few people in wrestling period that used to be an excellent wrestler, got fans to watch the product for him and sell tons of merchandise. And Kaito, that's the thing. A lot of people talk about how Austin and they're like, well, his wrestling ability went down, after his neck got broken by Owen Hart. Yeah, it did. But he still sold like $1 million. Even if his comebacks were punches. That's it. His comebacks were punches. Like, that's it. He didn't need anything else. It was punches and kicks and a Lou Thesz press and more punches. It's amazing to me that Austin was so over at that time that all he had to do was punch a guy in the face and he got just as big of a pop as, Taka Michinoku doing a twisting Sukahara out to the floor or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, It just shows the popularity of the character. And sometimes that's why when everybody's like, pure wrestling will always sell. No, characters sell. That's why Austin sold. That's why Rock sold. That's why Hogan sold. That's why Cena, sold all that merchandise, because the character resonated with people. Do you think Christian will have one more run in WWE? Vinny, I hope so. I really do. I like Christian a lot. I think Christian is Christian ranks above Edge in my book. I've always been a big Christian fan, and honestly, I want to see as a setup to Reigns versus what's his name, to Reigns versus Edge, because I think that's where we're going. I want to see Reigns and Uso versus Edge and Christian. Like that's like a dream for me. Like to see Edge and Christian reunite. I heard Cornette say if we did Hogan versus Austin, Austin needed it more. I wholeheartedly disagree. I know you love Austin and not a fan of Hogan at all. True Sinister, I disagree wholeheartedly there too. I don't think either of them need it. They're the two biggest names in the history of professional wrestling. I think that if you want to talk about who needed it more, I think Hogan did, because Austin beat Hogan in every single statistical category that Hogan held. He has, with the exception of, I think, I think I'm wrong. The highest rated wrestling segment I think ever is Saturday night's main event, right, with Hogan. But outside of that, if you take into account, when cable came in, Austin's the king of cable ratings. Hogan's number 2, but Austin was the king of cable ratings. I don't think that Austin needed it more. I think at that point, whenever it was able to actually happen, like whenever that was going to be, and if it was, when Austin, and it was when Hogan and Rock would have had that match, because that seems to be the time period where it could have happened because they were both there. I think Austin absolutely didn't need it more. I think Hogan did. Hogan was coming back. He put over Chris Benoit. Of course he did. Sorry to go there, but Lita was so hot during that Edge run. Why are you sorry to go there? Lita's gorgeous. And yes, she looked incredibly sexy during that run. Being the best wrestler doesn't always make you draw. Absolutely not. And that's the thing about Kenny Omega. I don't think Kenny Omega's got a lot of charisma. I think he's got a really awkward personality that, resonates with a lot of wrestling fans. And this isn't an insult to Omega or wrestling fans. Maybe it is, whatever. A lot of wrestling fans are awkward. And I think Omega is kind of awkward. And I to a lot of people, and they're like, hey, he's not exactly like the most eloquent guy. Like, he's not Nick Bockwinkel, and he's not Austin defying authority, like, he seems a little bit more grounded and a little bit more like a real human being. I think that's a draw to Kenny Omega. It's not a knock on him. Omega is a little bit awkward, but wrestling fans are also awkward. So yeah, sure. Go after what or go after who's watching you. Albert, what's your thoughts on Damian Priest being very well liked? I'm sorry, I skipped this one. I would like to get your take on this. How do you feel about fans complaining about Bad Bunny getting more time in WWE? They're stupid. Bad Bunny's merchandise is sold out on WWE Shop. People are tuning into YouTube to see all the stuff that Bad Bunny's doing. The one thing that it's not doing is it's not equating to ratings. But at the same point, I'm tired as fuck about talking about ratings, because ratings don't matter as much right now as they used to in professional wrestling. And I'm really, really, really tired of talking about how, well, the ratings this week on Raw was down and AEW keeps beating NXT in the rating. I don't care. Ratings don't mean anything to me as a wrestling fan unless you're going to cancel my show. And no wrestling show on the air right now is in anywhere near danger of being canceled. So I don't care. But Bad Bunny is bringing people into wrestling. I think that it's a good thing. I mean, I don't know if it's, like I said, it's not equating to ratings, but it is equating to views, and it's getting people's eyes on people, on other people. It's definitely giving a rub to a guy like Damian Priest. More power to it. I like that. And the thing is that, look, he's the 24/7 champion. It's a joke title, but and that's the thing. Everybody's like, I hate the 24/7 title. This is the greatest invention ever. WWE has this title changing hands over and over again on big shows all the time. This guy's gonna be the musical guest tonight on Saturday Night Live, and he's the 24/7 champion. That's great. If R-Truth rolls him up and beats him for the 24/7 championship during his opening monologue, that's such great business for WWE. If Miz and Morrison interrupt him during that, that's such great business for WWE. Anybody who thinks Bad Bunny is bad for professional wrestling, the professional wrestling business, is a moron. And they're also probably the same assholes who are sitting there going, well, I can't wait to see Cody versus Shaq. Come on. When one company does something, you shit all over them. When the other company does something, all of a sudden it's the greatest thing in the world. It was cool to have Mike Tyson and Snoop Dogg there. Nobody complained. But when Bad Bunny got on Raw, oh my God, who's this guy? I don't know who this guy is. Like, to be honest, when he performed at the Royal Rumble, not my thing. I didn't care. Nobody I was with really cared. But then I went on Twitter afterward. I went on Instagram afterwards, and 4 of my friends who don't watch wrestling at all had clips from the Royal Rumble of Bad Bunny performing. And I realized at that point, well, nobody should give a shit about what I care about because I don't care about Bad Bunny, but obviously other people do. I think he's excellent. He's a big fan. He loves wrestling. I think it's great for the business as a whole. I have no problem with it. Your thoughts on Damian Priest being very well liked backstage? I hope that leads to something big for Damian Priest. Damian Priest, in my opinion, is one of those guys that has everything. He's got a cool gimmick. He's got the look. He can move in the ring. He's got everything. He's a big dude. It's everything that you would think that Vince would want to see in a guy. And I think that Damian Priest, if WWE's smart, should get the Dave Bautista treatment. I think I might have mentioned this at one point before, either on here or I tweeted this out, that if WWE gives Damian Priest, who's up there in age, I believe he's close to 40 or in his 40s. So if they give him the Batista run, whereas give him a year, let him establish himself, let him become a major main event player within one full calendar year and get as much mileage as you can with him being on the top and at his absolute peak and best performance that he possibly can before injuries and other things and age and natural progression slows him down, I think Damian Priest is a moneymaker. I think he prints money. I think he speaks to that Puerto Rican, the fan base. I think he speaks to, that gothic nightlife kind of fan base. I think he's got to appeal across a lot of different things. And Bad Bunny being paired with him only helps him. Let's see. I think I skipped over a couple things. Yeah, I did. Okay. Put me on to Great Khali's wrestling skills before he went down. Oh, Jesus. Ron Hawthorne, what's up, buddy? I'm sorry I missed you. The thing is, people don't usually get that Austin was consistent, and that's more important than one big rating for one big boost for one night. Absolutely. Austin was ratings and money every single time he was on TV, and you can't equate that. Punishment Martinez is cool. I hope the Bad Bunny rub helps him. And yeah, exactly. I agree. Can you see Omega on the Tonight Show or Good Morning America? No, I can't. I see Cody doing that all day long. I can even to a point see Mox because he's got like that gruff kind of exterior and it's like he looks like a wrestler. I don't see Kenny doing it. He doesn't equate like well-spoken company man to me. And Tony Khan doesn't either. Tony Khan, I've been watching Impact and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Every single time Tony Khan does one of those little Impact commercials, it makes me cringe so much. Like he just comes off as such a fanboy. And this isn't an indictment on Tony Khan because if I was Tony Khan, I'd be doing the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, I'd probably be an on-screen character to the detriment of my company because I'm such a big mark for wrestling and I would want to be a part of it. This isn't an indictment on Tony Khan. It's just he's kind of cringy. And Omega to me is kind of cringy. That's just my opinion, though. With Don Callis there, can I see it? Yes. But AEW's ratings are terrible, just NXT. Everybody's ratings are terrible right now, except for SmackDown. NBC, ABC, and Fox are apparently abandoning Nielsen ratings. And that's the thing. They're getting, look, and I've said this a while ago, and Dave completely keeps disagreeing with me on this, and this is what gets me aggravated about it. A lot of people are cutting the cord, and we're going to soon get, just instead of having cable, we're going to have the Verizon package on your Fios TV where you're going to get all those, shows and they're going to be downloaded straight, or aired straight live on your Verizon Fios package through your Fire TV or your Samsung TV. That's what we're going to get in a couple of years. People aren't watching wrestling or aren't watching television traditionally the same way as everything else. So ratings, in my opinion, mean absolute dick nowadays. And like you said, a lot of people are starting to abandon these things. They're realizing a lot of people don't have boxes in their house anymore. Now, look, my dad worked for Verizon. We get a good deal on Verizon Fios. I'll have Verizon Fios until it's not a viable thing anymore. And I probably, once I move in with my girlfriend, I'll probably do the same thing and get it because I need to watch Raw and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll have it until it doesn't make sense anymore. But if WWE goes to Peacock, and and they decide, hey, you know what? We're abandoning terrestrial television and cable television, and we're going to air everything live on Peacock. I'm canceling my subscription to cable. Ratings don't matter as much as people thought in the Monday Night Wars. WCW got far better ratings for a long time. It wasn't really exactly. True Sinister. Right now, WWE, Impact, and AEW across the board wishes they had the same ratings as Nitro did when they were failing and going out of business. That's the scary part. Oh, I dislike Cody versus Shaq more bully. I can't stand the idea that people are okay with that. How are people not shitting all over that? It's mind-boggling. It's why I hate AEW fans. Not all, but like Dave always calls them, and which I'm going to adopt too. Those fake AEW fans. And fake WWE fans for the same thing too, because there are a lot of things that they defend for no reason. Unfortunately, wrestling fans question the guy's star power and ability because they don't know him. Of course they do, because, God forbid you know who Bad Bunny is. I didn't know who he was. I had no idea he was that big until I went on Instagram and saw a whole bunch of people who I know don't watch wrestling talking about Bad Bunny at Royal Rumble. I knew he had major crossover appeal. That's a big deal. That should not fucking happen. Not even though I'm not a huge... Hold on. I'm sorry. Where did that go? That should not fucking happen now. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Bad Bunny, but as long as it helps WWE get more eyes on the product, no problem. Exactly. 100%. Exactly. And Andy Ruiz, I agree. Damian Priest definitely looks marketable. When in actuality, he's one of the most famous people internationally known on the planet right now. And in all honesty, he's also a good dude. I did research on him. He's a big supporter of the LGBTQ community. He's a big supporter of... Okay, so Damian Priest is 37, so he's close to 40. He's a big help to the Latino and Hispanic communities. He's donated a lot of money and a lot of time and done a lot of work for them. And I respect him as a human being more than anything else. If he's on my television, good for him. People like Sting came back to AEW and will comes back. Everyone had look. All right, so Vinny, that's the thing. Look, we'll get into that, and I'm going to read the rest of these comments, and we're going to dig into the Sting thing because that's something I definitely want to get into. I think Cody is the more classical type person to do that. Cody reminds me of an NWA wrestler. Absolutely. Yeah, 100% it's cringe. I already dislike Bad Bunny because of his voice and music. I like Shaq because he's such a great basketball player. With Tyson, he seemed like he can knock out anyone. Sure, True Sinister, I get that. But the thing is that we're not sitting here and looking at... The thing is that we get mad that, AEW is, that WWE wasn't pushing talent, right? That was the big thing. WWE doesn't give anybody a push. They bury everybody. They have guys just sitting in catering doing nothing. Look at this whole story that broke about Bo Dallas, who's getting paid to sit, and to not even come to TV tapings because creative doesn't have anything for him. We get mad about that, but then AEW goes out and opens the forbidden door, and now all of a sudden we have, Impact guys taking away spots from AEW talent on AEW TV. We have New Japan guys taking away Impact spots. AEW talent on AEW television. And look, by the same point, them opening that door and featuring more guys on Impact is a bump for Impact. I'm not going to complain about that, but it's not a good look, in my opinion, for AEW to be taking TV time away from their stars. A guy like Shawn Spears hasn't been on TV in 2 months, but it's okay that Shaq gets a match with Cody. Why couldn't you put Shawn Spears in that position? Shawn Spears already has an established hatred of Cody. Come on. Cable's for boomers. Yeah, you're not wrong. I've not had cable consistently since I was in high school. A lot of people haven't. I think Impact got screwed in this AEW partnership so far. Yeah, no, they did great in the New Japan one, getting FinJuice out of it. I think that was a much bigger thing than they've gotten about getting. And look, no disrespect, I love Private Party, but no disrespect here. Like, Private Party is one thing, but getting FinJuice, I think, is a bigger deal. I think they're better known more internationally, and people are going to tune in more. Isn't streaming TV is doing mediocre? I think they are. I think they're probably doing better than cable. WWE used Snoop, Tyson, and Shaq first. Sure, they did. True Sinister. I completely agree. Like, I don't care. Look, don't get me wrong. I don't care that they're doing it. I absolutely don't care at all that they're doing so. I didn't care when WWE did it. But you can't double standardly tell me that you're mad about WWE not featuring celebrities and stuff like that, and they think that it's horrible WWE features celebrities, but AEW does it, and it's totally okay. Meta World Peace would be a better substitute to wrestle Cody instead of Shaq. Andre, you're not wrong, dude. I'd love to see that. Reggaeton is big internationally, but somewhat still a niche in the U.S. Sure, degenerate, but by the same point, professional wrestling is really big around the world, and it's getting to be more niche in the U.S. So, WWE has Smoky Mountain, ECW, and NWA on their shows way before this Forbidden Door thing. Of course they did, True Sinister. I tweeted about that too. Everybody's like, when's WWE going to start working with other companies? Did you not see the 97 Rumble where they worked with all the guys from AAA? Did you not see the title tournament when they worked with the light heavyweight title tournament where they worked with Michinoku Pro? Did you not see 95, 96 where they had a working deal with Smoky Mountain? Did you not see 96, 97 where they had a working deal with ECW? Did you not see the ECW champion on WWE television in 2000? Like, come on. Don't jerk me around here. This isn't anything new. The NWA was literally built. The National Wrestling Alliance was literally built. Oh, by the way, the WWE also had NWA on their television too for a long period of time and defended the NWA title on there a long period of time. I know you mentioned that, True Sinister, but I wanted to get that out there too. But the NWA was literally built on having a world champion going around to other promotions to wrestle them. They were literally built on international, interpromotional wrestling. Have a rematch with Cody and Spears. I don't think celebrities aren't important, but I dislike when a celebrity gets a bigger spot than a wrestler. That's just me. And look, I'm not mad about it if they bring people in, but they always could have just had Shawn Spears be, or not even Shawn Spears, anybody else be in the match and have Shaq in his corner, and I would have been okay. That's just me, though. But I don't look personally. I'm not mad about this. I'm not mad about this. Degenerate, take your time, man. So, I'm not mad about it. It's fine. If that's what AEW wants to do, that's fine. But don't come at me about WWE featuring celebrities when you're totally okay with AEW doing it. That's a double standard I dislike. So far, Snoop Dogg's Tadpole Splash is still the best thing in AEW this year. I mean, he did. I don't know. I mean, he didn't do it as well as Hornswoggle, but, even Sasha Banks got on him for that. Drop my cap from my water bottle. I hope Vinny Montaigne is still here because let's get into Sting. So the initial news broke that Sting came to AEW and he said he was going to wrestle. And the idea was everybody kept saying, he's not going to wrestle. He's just going to do cinematic matches. Then it was, well, he's going to do a street fight. It's not cinematic, but it's something where they can protect him. He doesn't even need to take a bump. And now it's Sting took a near 60-year-old or over 60-year-old. I don't know how old he is. I'm terrible with ages in case you guys haven't guessed. Takes a power bomb from Brian Cage. One of the most deadly moves in wrestling. Sting gets planted in the middle of an AEW ring with a power bomb. A man who had to retire from WWE because he had spine and neck injuries. Look, I'm okay with Edge coming back because Edge kept active. He was doing Vikings. He got into better shape. He got into better shape outside of wrestling than he did when he was in wrestling. He's still young enough to come back. I'm okay with Daniel Bryan coming back because Daniel Bryan fought so hard to come back, and he knew that his career wasn't over. And I'm totally okay with the fact that Daniel Bryan came back. I cringed so hard watching Sting take that power bomb. It legitimately scared me. Now, I know Sting probably knows his body better than all of us, and I know he knows his body better than I do. And I know he knows his body better than Tony Khan, and he knows it better than everybody else. But my God, that man, at 60 years old, when Ric Flair was wrestling at that age, when Ric Flair took a big bump, I cringed. Every time I cringed because your body's not built at that age to take that sort of impact. And I know Sting's not going to wrestle full time, but look, I'm going to say this once, and I'm going to get it off my chest before anybody gets mad at me. I don't give a shit about the comparisons that are being made because Goldberg comes back, and like it or not, Goldberg's not taking the bumps that Goldberg took when he was in his heyday. I know everybody's going to talk about how they're booked. I could give a fuck less about their booking right now. We want to talk about booking. We'll talk about booking later, but I can give a fuck less right this second about booking. Let's throw booking out the window. Goldberg came back, didn't take nearly the amount of bumps that he used to. Undertaker comes back, does the cinematic matches, And the cinematic match, and that was great. But Undertaker also, when he came back, wasn't nearly doing the stuff that he did. Even at WrestleMania 25 with Shawn, he was very, he was gingerly, did everything gingerly. He didn't take as many risks, and that's fine. Sting's first thing that he does interactively, taking a move, is a variation of a move that Drew Sinister brought up, a variation of the move that legitimately ended his career in WWE. The reason why we never got Sting versus Undertaker was because of that move, and because of that, and because WWE was very scared about the fact that Sting was not going to be able to, withstand being in the ring and taking bumps for a full match, and they were scared, so they told him he needed to retire for his protection. That's where I get scared, and that's where it bothers me. Because in my opinion, that's a lot of impact to be putting on a guy's body who has a pre-existing spinal injury. I want Bryan to win the Chamber, beat Roman, and have Miz cash in. Okay, I'm not mad about that. Like, I think that gives Bryan a good thing. I just don't want Roman to lose the title right now. That's just my opinion. I want to see Roman beat Edge. I want to see Edge win the Rumble and put Roman over to really solidify Roman's top spot as the guy in the company. Tully Blanchard. Exactly, Ron Hawthorne. Tully Blanchard, 70-year-old Tully Blanchard. Everybody's okay with him coming back and having a wrestling match. But we were mad that 40-something or 50-something-year-old Goldberg came back? Come on, guys. And again, I know everybody's going to sit there and go, well, Goldberg was in the world title match and he beat Kevin Owens and he beat Bray Wyatt. Shut the fuck up. Like, I'm so sick of that stupid argument. Goldberg looked like he could. Tell me Goldberg, look, and I'm not defending the WWE's decisions here, but tell me if you looked at Bray Wyatt versus Goldberg and you looked at Kevin Owens versus Goldberg, tell me the guy who was in the best shape out of those three. It was Goldberg. At least he looked the part. I don't like that he got booked into title matches. I hate that he won the title. I hate that he beat Bray. I don't like that he beat Kevin Owens, but at least he looked the part. Tully Blanchard is 70, and I don't care how he's being booked. I don't care if he's being booked against 4'7" Marco Stunt. I don't care. In my opinion, Tully Blanchard does not belong inside of a wrestling ring. Ric Flair didn't belong inside of a wrestling ring after he retired from WWE. And he was doing bloody matches with Hogan all over the place because he needed the money. And they should just be respecting Ric Flair enough to say, don't get in the ring, come cut a promo, and we'll give you all the money that we would have if you would have wrestled. That's disrespect to a guy with the legend of and the tenure of a guy like Ric Flair. He shouldn't have to get back in the ring. Tully Blanchard shouldn't have to get back into a ring. And look, this could be a bait and switch. I'm not going to get mad about it now because, look, let's just be honest. This could be something along the lines of Tully Blanchard comes out and he's supposed to be in the match, and then they distract the ref, and, FTR hits the big rig on Marco Stunt, and he just gets a pin. And look, that's fine. But don't sit here and say, well, AEW knows how to use legends. They don't just return them and put them back in the ring. They use them as managers. They use them as advisors. They use them as this. They use them as that. They put them on commentary. And now, look, you're completely shitting all over the argument that you've made this entire time about how AEW takes care of their legends because they're putting Sting back into a ring immediately and they're putting Tully Blanchard in a match. I don't care. It's a double standard and it's bullshit. If you're going to keep telling me that you don't want to see it in WWE, you shouldn't be happy about it happening in AEW. I'm sorry. And don't give me the bullshit excuse of booking, because booking, in my opinion, doesn't mean anything in this spot. You can't sit here and say, I'm okay with Sting coming back because he's not going to be in a world title push, in the world title picture. Technically, he's in the TNT title picture, is he not? Darby Allin's not defending that title right now because why? He's teaming with Sting. So doesn't that take away a major title defense that Darby could be having at this pay-per-view? Of course it does. But nobody's talking shit about that. Nobody's getting mad about the fact that it's actually doing of course, it's giving Darby a rub. And I get that. That's going to be the argument. Well, Darby's getting the Sting rub. That's great. But it's still taking away the fact that Darby could have had a major title defense against a guy like Starks or Cage, and now he doesn't. He's in a tag match with Sting. It's a double standard all around. I don't know if WWE is going to have Roman lose that belt anytime soon. I hope not. True Sinister, I agree. I hate that Sting came back. Look, if Sting came back to wrestle like 2 or 3 cinematic matches, I'm all for it. Cool. He's not getting back in the ring. I would have been cool with it. He doesn't have to take bumps. I would have been cool with it. But come on. Not as a full-fledged match. Not taking power bombs from Brian. And look, Brian Cage took care of him. Brian Cage was so professional during that powerbomb. It looked ridiculous, but man, Sting, I've never seen anybody more flat on a powerbomb in my life. Brian Cage did an amazing job taking care of Sting. But come on, hypocrisy 101. Also think Goldberg can't probably excuse finisher anymore. That's half his arsenal. So Goldberg looks old. I don't think. Look, Goldberg looks older, but let's face it, True Sinister. I'm willing to bet that you're younger than Goldberg. I know that I am. I know the majority of the stream probably is. You're telling me that Goldberg doesn't look. You're telling me that Goldberg looks old? Sure, but you're telling me he doesn't look like he could beat the shit out of all of us? I think Goldberg looks better physically than if Goldberg would have dyed his goatee back to his natural color and shaved his chest hair. I think Goldberg would look just as young as anybody else. I just dislike that an old wrestler has to wrestle. They're freaking old. Let them manage. Thank you, Kaido. This is for WWE and AEW. Stop letting your legends just wrestle. AEW is worse because they make it seem like it doesn't happen, yet it does. Exactly. Like, look, you can have a legend come back. Look, I don't like what Ric Flair's doing. Don't get me wrong. I don't like that they're giving the impression that Ric Flair's banging Lacey Evans and he's the dad of her child. I hate that. Ugh. Cringy. But I'm okay with Ric Flair being on television as a character. Everybody is like, oh my God, here they go, trotting Ric Flair back out there during a pandemic. Like AEW hasn't been doing the same thing with Tully Blanchard and Jake Roberts, who are around the same age. Come on. I'd rather have Nigel McGuinness or Barrett or Joe back. I'd rather have Carino back. It's same thing. Look, True Sinister, that's a matter of opinion. I agree with all of those because all three of those guys are personally some guys that I was a big fan of. So, that's me. Albert, what's your thoughts on WandaVision so far, and who do you think? All right, so Vinny, my opinion is this. Albert shit on me for mentioning WandaVision on Dave's stream. Did I really? Look, I might have, but that's only because I probably hadn't seen it yet. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't see this Saturday's this week's episode, the one that aired yesterday. So if anybody spoils anything for me, I will severely hurt all of you. So don't spoil shit, okay? As of the last week's episode, I love the show. I think it's incredible. It's one of the it's the highlight of my week. The only reason why I don't watch it on Friday is me and my girlfriend hang out on Saturdays, and we're watching it together. I love it. I absolutely love it. I look forward to it every week. It's the thing I look forward to most now. And I haven't felt this way about a television show in a very long time. Maybe not since like Dexter or Entourage have I felt like I need to see this show every single week. I love it. And True Sinister, if I did, I'm sorry. And like, I apologize. It just may have been that I didn't see it yet. So I just didn't want anything spoiled. And again, same here. Like, there's only 3 of you guys in here right now, so it's not too big of a deal. I don't think that anybody's going to really say anything stupid, but yeah. Joe will come back when his neck injury heals up. I just think he likes being on commentary. Yeah, Vinny, I agree. I hope so. I think that, I think that once, I also think that Joe's doing great on commentary. I don't think that they want to take him off commentary because he's doing a good job. But I also think that when the time calls for it, when Joe's gonna, supposed to be that guy who comes in, the right guy needs an opponent, and Joe turns out to be like the guy on the roster who can fill that spot. That's when Joe's going to come back. Wade Barrett has another run in him too. I think the right storyline need. So Vinny, I don't know. It's funny. Barrett's weird. Barrett really, like, after he left WWE, he did like a very brief indie stint, and then he was just like, no. I got this hosting gig. I'm done with wrestling. It's the way it seemed to me. And then out of nowhere, like all of a sudden he started talking about like, hey, maybe I can come back. Hey, maybe I can't. I don't know. I hope so. I like Barrett. Is Braun injured again? True Sinister, as far as I know, unfortunately, yeah. I think he is. It's a bad look. I think it's a bad deal for Braun. I think that, this is a period where WWE can use a guy like Braun. There's WrestleMania season and stuff like that. I think that Braun could be a very big part of that. Remember, he main evented night 1 of WrestleMania. Well, in-ring main evented night one of WrestleMania last year. And now, seeing that he doesn't really have a story going in, it bothers me. I hope the fact that the only reason why he's not being utilized more is because he is physically unable to work, and not that they don't have anything for him. Albert, did you check out the trailer for Lois and Superman? Vinny, it looks good. I saw the trailer. It looks good. I finished. I'm almost finished with Arrow. I have like 2 or 3 episodes left on that because I fell behind and I started watching on Netflix. I'm gonna then go back and catch up on the Flash. I'm like 2 seasons behind on that. I didn't watch the other 2, but I always watch the crossover episodes, and I like the guy Tyler Hoechner or whatever his name is. I like his version of Superman. So I'll try to give the show a chance. I'm gonna miss seeing Melissa Benoist as Supergirl though, just because I think she was an excellent Supergirl. As much as I love New Roman, I feel he hasn't had that big opponent he needed yet. I think Edge is the guy. I think that he hasn't had that guy. I think Owens, if Owens was built a little bit better prior to his feud with Roman, like if he had the momentum, Andy, who is doing the Flash film, has yeah, I saw that actually, Vinny. Yeah, the girl who's going to be playing Supergirl in the movies is going to be a Hispanic, and that's awesome. Good for her. I respect the fact that she was probably the best person for the role at the time, and they just didn't sit there and say, well, you being Hispanic is a deal breaker. They just said, okay, you're the best for the role, so we're going to make you the character. I appreciate that. Again, I like Hamilton, and all the founding fathers are played by, the Black and Hispanic men. So, it was cool for me. Didn't take me out at any point. So, but yeah, so getting back to Roman, like I said, I think Edge is that person. I think that, Kevin Owens, if he was built up a little bit better, could have been that guy for Roman. But I think that Kevin Owens, was played around a little bit too much with. And, Kevin brings it up himself all the time. He's I think the only guy since the brand extension restarted a few years ago that's been moved every single brand extension. And it just doesn't seem like they can find a solid footing for Kevin Owens sometimes. And, and I like the fact that Owens and Zayn are on the same show and they haven't interacted as much as WWE usually would, just because I feel like it's, that never ending story between the two of them. But, so, it's one of those things. True Sinister, look, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going to take like a minute out of this whole stream. I am so sorry for that. My dog, I had to put him down a bunch of years ago. He was 10, and he still lived a very full life up until that point. But he's still the background of my phone to this day, hasn't changed. Yeah, that's a horrible feeling, and my heart goes out to you, man. I still have like a shrine like to my left over my bed to him. I have I have a card that my coworkers were nice enough to give me behind his ashes. I have a so when he passed, they gave me like this little pad and they put his little paw prints in it. So I have that, and then the day after, I went and got his paw prints tattooed on me. So I totally feel for you, man. My heart goes out to you. It's a painful thing to go through. And I really don't wish that upon anybody, like my dog was like my child. So, it's a lot. So, my condolences to you, to your family, to everyone, because a dog is a part of the family just as much as a family member is. So I feel for you. Braun was fighting a blood infection. Ooh, that's not good. Kevin Owens is one of those guys that can go out there and tell a good story with anyone as a face or a heel. Vinny, I completely agree. I think Kevin Owens is the most criminally underutilized top talent that WWE has. I feel like he just gets thrown into different things. Like he had that feud with Aleister Black because I feel like they were like, we need something for Kevin Owens. Like just put Kevin Owens out there with anybody. He's going to make it work. Damn, I got to go back to putting my, see, I put my laptop up here. I'm really upset because it's the first stream I think Harry's actually missed. And I actually wanted to break it to Harry that I've been trying to edit his video recently. So I know I've mentioned this, and I'm gonna probably have to reiterate this at one point to Harry. Does it bother you that booking is inconsistent power scaling? Do you think that No, true sir. I'm okay with that. I think that there's a lot of times where I feel like you need to scale back a little bit on some guys. I think you can't keep guys at the top for too long because then they get stale. I think you got to scale guys back and then bring them back when they, when they need to be. But I also think you have to do something to get them back up to that level. Like Kevin Owens challenging Roman Reigns was great, but I think that they could have done a little bit better if Kevin Owens maybe dropping a couple of like bigger heels on his way to get that spot. My opinion though. But yeah, so I don't remember where I was going before. He can be used off. They tried. Heel Owens could be so good if he started a kayfabe injury. Look, Owens in any incarnation to me is perfect. I don't think that there's a bad way to book Kevin Owens. I love Kevin Owens. I think he's great. But like to get back to where we were before, I think that Roman hasn't had that big guy yet. Because let's face it, he wrestled the championship away from Bray and Braun, and those guys kind of fizzled away because Roman moved, they moved shows. So Roman, won the title, and they kind of fizzled away as his opponents. And then he had these short arcs, and then he did the stuff with Jey Uso, and then he did the stuff with with Kevin Owens. I think the opponent for him right now is Edge. I don't know. Like my prediction, I don't even have a prediction of who's going to win the Elimination Chamber. I like a part of me wants to say it's going to be Bryan. But would WWE be stupid enough to put a guy like Daniel Bryan into the main event and then give a bait and switch the next month with Edge? They tried to do that a couple of years ago, and look what happened. We got the summer of we got the summer of Bryan, and Bryan got inserted back into the title picture because Bryan was popular. I think it's a stupid move. I think the right person to win the chamber, to be completely honest, and people are going to tell me that I'm crazy, is Sami Zayn. I think that Zayn should win it. I think he should win the chamber. I think Roman should come right out. Superman punch, spear, choke, done. 5 seconds, and then Zayn can keep going with this. I was screwed. Everybody's against me. I won the Elimination Chamber, and I had no time to rest, and Roman beat me immediately. It's WWE again, just constantly booking me into a corner. What's up, Shap Shap? And I think it's a good story. I think Sami Zayn has the best story of winning the chamber. I think Jey Uso should be the guy who gets eliminated first. He should go in there and be like a house of fire and look great. And Roman should be, ringside and give him like a thumbs up and should get rolled up and get beaten. And Roman should berate him and say, "Why are you looking at me? Why are you paying attention to me? You should be paying attention to the task at hand." I think Zayn's the best guy to do it. Look, realistically, if you ask me who I want to see, Cesaro. How great would it be if Cesaro wins the whole thing and even puts on like a good 7-minute match, which he can get the best out of anybody can out of Roman, but it would elevate him to another level. In my opinion, it's Zayn or Cesaro. I don't think there's anybody else. If Owens wins it, it's just a rehash of what's been happening. If Bryan wins it, I think they paint themselves into a corner because Bryan's too popular. Who's the other guy? I'm missing somebody. It's Owens, Zayn, Cesaro, Bryan, Uso. I don't remember who the sixth one is. I'm missing somebody. Fill me in. Somebody, please. Even if Cesaro doesn't beat Roman, it could still be seen as a big deal, and that's all. King Kylie took the words out of my mouth. It's just a big deal for him. And I just want Cesaro to be looked at as more of a big deal. I love Cesaro. And I know Dave will probably feel the same way. Even look, that's one of those things where even in a loss, Cesaro can look good because he won the Elimination Chamber. It's a big deal. Can anybody tell me who I'm missing here? Why would I not remember who the sixth guy is? All right, nobody's telling me, so I'm gonna have to look it up. Even though I'm gonna be wrong, even though I know I'm gonna be wrong, I think Cesaro may win. Look, they're building him towards it. If you didn't see his segment on talk, Corbin, thank you. It's Corbin. All right, Corbin. There's no reason for Corbin to win. It doesn't do anything for him. So yeah, in my opinion, the best two guys are Zayn and Cesaro. Look, at the end of the day, winning the Elimination Chamber could do wonders for Cesaro, and it looks like they're building him to him. If you guys didn't see his promo on Talking Smack about how much he loves wrestling, do yourselves a favor and go watch it. I don't know exactly where it is, but it was on Talking Smack, so it's on the network. But if you're on Twitter, I know Ryan Satin posted it. I follow Ryan Satin on Twitter. As a matter of fact, him and Sean Ross Sapp have been interacting with me a lot lately, which is a little bit weird. I'm going to start referring to myself as a wrestling journalist. If Dave Meltzer can do it, I can, right? I get interacted with wrestling journalists, so I can call myself one. And I have a YouTube channel. I have a platform. I'm a journalist now. So, but yeah, just watch that. It was probably the best promo of Cesaro's career. I think Cesaro was so funny this week on backstage. I think Brian was great. Like, hey, Kevin Owens has he turns on all of his partners. Hey, I'm missing somebody. Maybe we should make a list to reference Jericho. I think it's great. I also don't know why they can't just say Jericho's name. I know that that's probably a Vinceism, but who cares? But yeah, I would love to see Cesaro win it. And in all honesty, really, if you're gonna come down to it, it really can only be Cesaro or Bryan, right? I'm also mad that Nakamura is not in the match. Like, they should have nixed Corbin out of this match and put Nakamura in there. That's just me, though. Even though I know, I'm sorry, NXT and Universal are only two belts that Edge hasn't won. Yeah, Ron, I know. That's actually, that's actually a big deal. And Edge says he wants to do stuff with guys on NXT. So, look, here's the thing. If Edge wins, it's going to be for the WrestleMania moment, and that's it. And he'll lose it. It'll be like the Shawn Michaels win inside the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, I do, True Sinister. I do. And I hope that, and that's the thing. I don't care if WWE does it. I don't think it does anything bad. I think Knock is going for the Intercontinental belt. And Ron Hawthorne, I see that too, but I think that's a waste for him. And I think that Apollo is making waves right now as a heel. I think he's doing a lot better than, a lot of people are giving him credit for. So I would rather see, I'm actually more interested in Apollo and Big E than I am Nakamura and Big E. And it's not just about the matchup. It's just I think Nakamura deserves better. I think Nakamura should be a fringe main event level guy. I think he should be booked in an upper mid card position at all points, and it doesn't look like he's being booked that way. He looked like that; it was going that way in the Gauntlet. But hey, that's just me. But I think, like I said, I think Edge is going to get the Shawn Michaels treatment after Survivor Series in the Elimination Chamber, where Shawn won it for a month and then lost it right back. I think that if Edge wins the title from Roman, that's what's going to happen. I think he'll go on. He'll have a good 2 to 3 month feud with Roman. Then he'll move out of SmackDown and he'll go somewhere else. And I think that's the big thing for Edge is that they have not yet established the fact of what brand Edge is on, which bothers me in one way because I just reorganized a bunch of my wrestling figures. I have them all broken up by brands, and I don't have a spot for John Cena and Kane and Edge, who are all still technically active WWE roster members, but aren't associated to a brand. It bothers me, but that's just me. But I like the fact that Edge is going to be that guy who can move brands. What do you have to say about Cody and Tony Khan saying AEW is open and working with WWE? Of course they would. Why wouldn't they say that they were? Of course they would be. There's no way AEW and WWE work out a deal, though. WWE, look, and that's the thing. A lot of people sit there and say WWE is so, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. They don't work with other companies. But they inducted Ric Flair into the Hall of Fame while he was an Impact Wrestling member. They do it when they want to. I don't think WWE sees what's the benefit for WWE if they work together. More buzz from wrestling fans who probably already watch WWE. If AEW is getting 2 million viewers on every Dynamite, sure, yeah, WWE should definitely work with them because they're on the same level, they're on par. But why would WWE work with somebody who's so far below what they're doing right now? Yes, I know. I said ratings don't matter, but we're also talking about unique viewers. And we know that the majority of people who weekly watch AEW probably already watch Raw. So WWE doesn't, and True Sinister, yes, I get it. For the fans, that's true. But WWE is not a fan service company, it's a business. And it doesn't make any business sense to feature somebody else's product on your show unless you're getting something out of the deal. And WWE is not getting more views on their product if they feature AEW guys on their show more than they're getting right now. Maybe what, a couple of thousand, but that doesn't do anything for WWE. That doesn't bring in money. That doesn't bring in sponsors. That doesn't bring in more, much higher ratings. It's just them doing it just to make fans happy. And do I agree that they should do things to make fans happy? Sure. But I also think that they're going to do it, they should do it to make sense. And right now, there's nothing that makes sense because if an AEW guy beats a guy on WWE television, that makes the WWE look bad. If WWE guy goes to AEW and beats a guy on AEW television, it makes them look like they're secondary to WWE. There's no benefit for either company to work with each other at this time. There's none. New Japan gets a rub in the United States by working with AEW. Impact gets more viewers on their program because what's it called? They don't have the same ratings as AEW does. So they get help from AEW. It makes sense. WWE doesn't get that from them. What's up, Degenerate? Tony Khan be a money mark and shell out money for the deal. He might, but that's the thing. WWE doesn't need their money. WWE makes double the amount of money they make. Why do they need their money? It's not about money. It's about business. It's not about getting... Vince McMahon would rather make $5 million over 5 years than $3 million in one shot because it makes better business sense. And maybe that's a bad maybe I should up that. He'd rather make $10 million in 5 years than make $3 million in one shot because that means that his business is trending the right way. And you don't want, and that's the thing. It's the same thing as wrestling. We talk about hot shotting things. We could hot shot an AEW angle in there, and maybe that'll do good for what? A month, maybe two, but then it loses all of its luster and nobody cares anymore. If you're going to do it, it's got to be impactful, and it's got to be AEW coming in. It would look, the right way to do it is have every ex-WWE guy from AEW come in and beat the crap out of a whole bunch of guys and make it a full year. 1 year of these two companies battling each other, exchanging talent, making it worthwhile. And then, it comes out of it with both of them get the rub from each other. But right now, WWE does not need the rub from AEW because AEW fans aren't going to, even with, and let's be fair here. Let's put it all off the table. Let's forget about the rub. Let's forget about money. Let's forget about good enough for, what's good for the business. We talk about let's do it for the fans. Do you think that AEW fans, and I'm not talking about, wrestling fans who happen to enjoy the product of AEW like me. I'm talking about AEW specific, only AEW fans will give WWE a modicum of credit for letting AEW their television program? Or do you think that all they're going to do is just make AEW fans be more shills for the company and take ownership and say, if it wasn't for AEW, these two companies wouldn't be working together. Like it doesn't take two to tango. They're never going to give the WWE is never going to get the respect that they deserve from AEW fans. It's never going to happen that way. So it doesn't benefit WWE in any way. AEW fans won't stick around to WWE after AEW leaves their airwaves, so it doesn't make sense. Tony Khan is a money mark. I think it was just a mark. Look, there are a lot of times where I don't like, to be completely honest, I like Tony Khan. He is a mark. But you know what? All of us in this chat right now, if we had the same amount of money as he had, and we had the connections, and we could have opened our own wrestling company, we would have done it too. I'm not mad about Tony Khan for that. I'm actually happy that Tony Khan's working with other promotions because he's giving AEW fans what they want. I don't dislike anything that Tony Khan's doing, except those cringy promos that he does on Impact. He's just very cringy. But that's, like I said, I do the same thing, and maybe I come off the same way. Most marks don't have the money that Khan does. Yeah, exactly. That's the case. And if we did, we do the exact same thing. And whoever says that they wouldn't is a moron because that's the case. And most of you guys, and me included, would probably book yourselves as one of the top guys in the promotion. At least he didn't do that. Screw AEW fans who are irrational anti-WWE, and screw WWE fans who are irrationally who have irrational hatred towards the rest of the professional wrestling business. Like what you like. I wouldn't be on screen like he is. True Sinister, I mean, that's more power to you, because I damn sure would be. But he's a smart mark with money. Yes, he is. He is. He is. 100% true. He is degenerate. You're right. But that's not a bad thing. If we had that money, we'd probably be the same thing. If I had a wrestling promotion, I think I would have the world record for going out of business the quickest. Oh man, Shap, that's great. Listen, here's the thing. If I did, I would, because I mean, look, you guys understand a lot of where I'm coming from, even if you don't agree with me, and I appreciate that. And most of the people who watch this channel do have that sort of, I'm trying to find the right word. They have that sort of understanding. Like, hey, I might not agree with everything Albert says, but I do get it where he's coming from, and I get his opinion on things. And I get where he's coming from. And a lot of times what he says does make sense, even if it's not my personal taste or it's not something I want to agree with. His opinions do have rational sense. I appreciate that. But I also know that a lot of wrestling fans don't agree with anything that I say. So I know that if I had a promotion, it probably would go out, because I probably wouldn't fan service people to death like AEW's done. And actually, I take that back. They haven't really. To a point they have, but they've also gone back on a lot of things that they've said. So, you know, that's another big argument I got. Somebody tried to tell me that AEW didn't go back on any of the promises they made. And I immediately named like 3 off the top of my head that I was like, are you crazy? Like, yes, they did. First thing is, we're going to be a sports-based promotion. And then they bring in Snoop Dogg and they bring in Shaq to have a match. And they bring in, Mike Tyson. But we're going to be sports-based. Just because you have a sports star on your show doesn't mean you're more sports-based. And they did it debonair, which I loved. Again, don't get me wrong, I loved it. But they still lied to their fan base. Just me. Albert, you're a YouTuber. Of course you'd be on screen. I feel like that's like that's the way Matt Hardy would say it. Like, V1 nah. He'd be like, I'm a YouTuber. So yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, there's a couple of things. Like, so there are 7 of you guys in here now, so you guys get to get the end of the stream spiel. I want your guys' opinions though. So before we go, well, look who's up and about. Super Ermac, what's up, buddy? How are you? Long time no see. How's everything going, man? Let's be honest. If AEW just said we were going to focus on in-ring wrestling as well as comedy skits, I wouldn't be mad. It's exactly, King Kaido. And look, the thing is that they didn't say we're going to exclusively be a sports-based product. They said we're going to be more of a sports-based product. And to a point, they have. But they've also done a lot of things that are very hokey. And, you can't tell me that you are a sports-based product when you sign guys like Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. But yeah, don't sit here and sell me a false bag of goods. Reminds me of a certain YouTuber from Harlem, I believe, was allegedly sexually assaulted by a hip-hop pioneer. Well, I don't know where you're going with that one, degenerate, but, that's that. But, look, the thing is that, in my opinion, wrestling fans are just combative just to be combative. And they enjoy other wrestling fans who are combative just to be combative. That's why that douchebag, I actually don't even know who that is, but it shows how out of the loop I am. I should get better with stuff like this. But, But, they like wrestling, other wrestling people who are more combative and have differences of opinions. That's why Meltzer and Alvarez are popular. That's why, what's his name? What can I think? Oh, JD from New York is popular. He's an idiot. But he's an idiot with a base because he speaks to other idiots. And that's the thing. He's controversial. Cool. I'm not here to be controversial. I'm here to be honest. I'm here to be truthful. But that's what wrestling fans want. They want controversial. They want you to buck the system. They want you. Wrestling fans want you to give the finger and say "fuck you" on television, but then we'll get offended at the fact that you did that on a wrestling program. That's no. He's not a bit negative. He's a douche who's always negative. Sean Ross Sapp, posted something which I thought was very interesting on Twitter recently, earlier today or late last night. He said that the WWE is doing so much better in booking their women's tag team division because they've been featured on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and on pay-per-view all in 1 week. And that's way more than they've ever done with their women's tag team division. And that moron JD from New York commented on it. He's like, huh? What? When? Because all I see is this, that, and the other thing about. And he was like, I just told you how and why. Like, you're just being an idiot and just being negative just to be negative. Albert says he's not here to be controversial, but wears a shirt on the stream. I'm sorry, should I do my stream shirtless, Super Ermac? Nobody wants to see that. That's not controversial. That's just, vomit-inducing. Especially, I'm full from. I had a decent-sized breakfast this morning, so, I'm a little bloated right now. If you're saying, but I wear a Friends shirt, damn straight. That's right. Zero shame in that. I love Friends. And my niece got me this shirt, and I love her. So, whatever. But that's the thing. Wrestling fans like controversy. And I think that's why, Albert seems like he would be a good host for a party. Listen, I hosted my sister's wedding over the summer, and I did a bang-up job. If you guys need somebody to host a party, that would be me. I get everybody up. But that's my thing. At the end of the day, wrestling fans like controversy, and I think that the reason why WWE and AEW, WWE, falls to the wayside sometimes is because they're not controversial enough. But when they do things that are a little bit controversial, everybody shits all over them. Hey, we're a PG-rated product. We're going to try to go a little bit deeper into that. We're going to show a pentagram on Raw. We're going to light people on fire. We're going to get away from it. And then what does everybody do? They complain about it. And then everybody says, "Oh my God, kayfabe is dead. Kayfabe, WWE and wrestling destroyed kayfabe, and people need know way too much, yada yada yada, and then get mad that kayfabe Bray Wyatt isn't ready to come back after he got lit on fire. Of course he's not back yet. He was engulfed in flames. He shouldn't be back 2 weeks afterwards. Just because he's not on the show doesn't mean that you shouldn't, and you miss his presence doesn't mean he should be on every show. Let's see. I lost respect because it's Friends, but I regained it because you're wearing a shirt. Hey, listen, Super Ermac, if you don't like Friends, that's all on you. That's not my fault that you're missing out on one of the best shows of all time, in my opinion. But I respect yours and said you don't like it. A lot of people don't like Friends. I get it. Also, a lot of people dislike Friends because they didn't watch it in their initial run, and they went back and they're like, I've been seeing a lot of this stuff online where they're like, this is super cringy. This is transphobic. And this is like anti-woman. And so, like, can you not understand that this is from a different time and none of that was supposed to be looked at that way? And nobody looked at it that way back at that time? That's just me. You can go back and see all that on every show that you ever watched from the 90s. My family members gave me shirts and I pretend I wear them. In reality, I would never wear in public. Shap, see, I have no shame. I don't care. I love the show. She knows I love the show. She got me the shirt. This is what I did. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't plan on doing this. I got into this whole argument with this guy, and it wasn't even heated. But I just got into this argument with this guy about Kenny Omega on Twitter, and I just was like, you know what? I have some ammunition. I can go live for like an hour and a half, and just get some stuff off my chest. This is what I was wearing this morning when I woke up. I wasn't changing. So, yep. JD from New York is an idiotic ass, but he gets the idiots who like controversial discussions to watch, which is why he's popular enough. Right, and that's the thing. But that's the thing. That's the segment of wrestling fans that I hate, the toxic, negative wrestling fans who do nothing but shit all over the product. When you have an asshole who comes out on his show and rips into somebody for having a problem with substance issues and makes light of that, you're not being controversial to be controversial. You're being a dick. And that's what I view him as. Every comment that he makes, he's being a dick. Nothing is good enough for him. The WWE features their women's tag team champions, who everybody was mad. Oh my God, it's on, Asuka's a dual champion. They're doing nothing with these belts. Of course, Charlotte comes back and she gets him. They put him on somebody like Shayna Baszler, who everybody wants to see Shayna Baszler be successful on the main roster. Yes, I know she's teamed with Nia, but hey, at least Nia's in the ring less time now. so that she doesn't have to be in, she has less chance to botch or hurt people, because that's what everybody thinks that's the only thing she does. At least they're giving them the presence that they need. And then this moron comes on and he's like, yeah, how? We just told you how. You're just being a dick to be a dick. That to me isn't, like, being controversial is one thing. If you want to be controversial, but you have factual evidence to back it up, and you're not doing it just to be a dick, fine. Controversy creates cash. Eric Bischoff made a lot of money on that. King Kaido, I went through that a lot over the past couple of days. I feel for you. Good luck. Be warm. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. But yeah, be controversial, but do it in a positive way. He does it in a negative way, and he gets all these negative wrestling fans to come back and back him up. Being a negative piece of shit doesn't make you cool. It just makes you a negative piece of shit. And that's the way I view him. And you know what? One of these days, I'm going to talk enough shit about him that somebody in here is going to see it, and they're going to show it to him, and he's probably going to rip. And hopefully, I hope to God he rips me apart. It doesn't bother me, because if you want to come at me for shit that I do, you want to come at me because, hey, I do live streams in front of a fucking wall with Daniel Bryan posters behind me. You want to come at me because I wear a Friends shirt? You want to come at me for my opinions? Knock yourself out. I know that in my heart of hearts, I'm not a negative, toxic individual like you are. So I don't care what your opinion is of me. And hopefully he doesn't care what my opinion is about him either, because somebody who's that negative and toxic should have a, should have a thicker skin. I wear anime shirts daily, so rock on, Albert. King Kaido, I'm with you there, man. I'm trying to start to, like, clean up a lot of the TV shows I'm watching so I can start watching Full Metal Alchemist. I started watching it. I got to that episode, which I think you know what I'm talking about. It's very early on in Brotherhood. If you watch it, I got to that episode and I was like, damn, this show is way too heavy on me. I can't believe that they went that route, but damn. Oh, Kaido's not even here anymore. I'm talking to him like he's still here. Well, hopefully he sees this eventually, but that's just me. But then again, I'm a lad who watches Trailer Park Boys and I love it. See, that's the thing, Super Ermac. We all have our things that we like. Remember, people, don't apply modern viewpoints to figures of the past, because what's acceptable changes over time. And we think, Shap, I couldn't agree more. That's the thing. Everybody wants to look at everything with a modern day lens, and it wasn't made for people to look at through a modern day lens. I wore NWO shirts way after they died. I also wore Bullet Club shirts to Raw. True says that's fine. Wear what you want, man. Oh, listen, Super Ermac, if you wear anything with Freddie Mercury on it, you're automatically cool. I have a Queen shirt that my girlfriend got me with Freddie Mercury jumping out in the front of the stage. I wear that shirt way too much. It's awesome. I'm gonna be controversial. Water is wet. Well, Shap. No. Water's not wet. When water hits me, it's wet. I get wet, but water itself isn't wet. The stupidest argument ever. Of course, water's wet. I've seen that whole thing though, but whatever. I talked to JD on stream before. He was nice. Look, True Citizen, I'm not taking away from the fact that maybe he people that view his show, because that's the people that that's viewing it. You guys, the majority of the time. But when you guys say something stupid, sometimes I rip into you. But it's not personal. But that's the thing. I would assume he should be nice to the people who are, actually, taking his side and listening to him and taking the time out to actually, give him views. He's so annoying. Yeah, he is. Yeah, it is a Daniel Bryan poster. Yeah. I also have the Royal Rumble ones up here too. I'm sorry, I'm opposite in the camera. I have the Royal Rumble up here too, and above that, I'll actually show it. Actually, here, it might be easier to just do it this way. Oh, my light's blocking. It's like an Attitude Era thing. Next to that, I have like my Infinite Crisis poster. These are a bunch of my figures. So like my room is kind of just like decorated up right now to be just all wrestling centric. My girlfriend hates it. Probably hates it here. I don't blame her. Oh man, now I'm off center. Well, whatever. You get a little bit of a tour of my room there, guys. So congratulations. I was done with JD when he insulted me after having a slightly difference of opinion, leading me to get mobbed by his stands, unsubscribed on the spot. And that's the thing, Ron. That's what I hate about guys like that. You guys disagree with me about stuff all the time. I will never insult you for disagreeing with me. You guys are so much so allowed to have your own opinions. And you guys are so much allowed to like what you like. And it doesn't have to be the same thing that I do. But we can agree to disagree. That's fine. I will never insult you guys for having a difference of opinion. Unless that opinion is, like ridiculously stupid and just trying to be controversial just to be controversial. Look, Dave has his things that irk him. And I think that most of the times when people like state their opinions about things that irk him, I think he goes off because he thinks that people are just doing it just to get him angry. So I think that's why Dave sometimes gets like super defensive and stuff about things like that. I think that he knows that he thinks that people are just trying to get his goat. Mine is Freddie dressed as a Sailor Scout from Sailor Moon. Super Ermac, that's badass. I love it. Albert and True Sinister wear Balenciaga and Dior apparel. Dude, I can afford any of that, and even if I could, I wouldn't. I'm gonna be that guy that like if tomorrow this YouTube channel makes me $1 billion, I don't think I'd probably change my wardrobe. I'm just not that guy. Clothes don't mean anything to me. I might update it if I have to go to like different places and like have to look good in like suits and stuff like that. I might buy myself a couple of nice suits. My everyday apparel, if you see me 5 days out of the week, I'm either wearing pajama pants and a t-shirt or shorts and a t-shirt. I got a bunch of old Ruthless Aggression posters my friends sent to me from Canada. My walls are covered in random. See, Super Mac, that's awesome. Mine used to be before I repainted this whole thing. And, my ex-wife moved in with me. And that's the reason why I repainted and took down a lot of my stuff. It was covered from like wall to wall with posters. Like, I mean, this whole side was completely covered. And then I have the opposite side, up here, which above me, I have like a Harley Quinn and Joker poster, and I have Han Solo and Carbonite. But I had my whole wall was just covered. It was almost like wallpapered and posters. So yeah, it was like mostly music, like heavy metal and like rock bands and wrestling and the Beatles, because the Beatles are awesome. Dave has a goat. He lied to me. Well, Dave sometimes isn't so forthcoming. I had the nerve to think that Raw I had just watched wasn't as bad as he made it sound. That made me an idiot from that's part of the problem with WWE fans. Oh, it's part of the problem with WWE fans, in his opinion, is that WWE fans like their programming. Why are you watching something you don't like? That's the thing that pisses me off even more. If anything, he should be the idiot that watched an entire show that he hates. Fucking stupid, man. You, Dave, I wish you guys had more guests and a larger audience and a larger network of people who discuss wrestling. So, True Sinister, I want to do more about guests. So, actually, that's something I want to get into. I'm going to read the rest of these comments. We're going to get into this because it's an hour and a half in, and I have to. I got to get going. I got some stuff that I got to do. My girlfriend texted me like an hour ago, and I haven't answered her back. She's probably going to murder me now. She actually really won't. She loves me. Wait. Oh, I hate you. My friends at my best friends at Ichiran right now, which is a very popular ramen spot in Brooklyn and Manhattan, and I'm very jealous. So he just sent me a text telling me about that. Just finishing up a live stream. There we go. Now she knows what I'm doing. By the way, did you guys enjoy having her on a couple of weeks ago? I thought that it was really fun that that she came on, and she had a blast talking to you guys. You guys, by the way, this is the first time I've been here. Hold on. I'm trying to get through some of these comments. She had fun. You guys, thank you guys, by the way, for being super cool, super respectful. I didn't doubt that you guys weren't going to be that way. I know sometimes, there is this weird thing about wrestling fans where they see a pretty girl and don't know how to react and interact with her. But you guys were, absolutely classy. You guys were all gentlemen. Because I can say that because I think every person that tuned in was actually a man. But you guys were super great. She had a great time. She had a blast talking to all of you guys. Thank you guys for that. If you guys like that, I want to do more of it. If you want to see more of her reaction videos to other wrestling stuff, let me know. But we're going to get into that in 2 seconds about the future of the channel. But I'm going to dig into these comments real quick, and then we're going to get into that, and then I'm going to have to get going so I can get ready, so I can watch WandaVision, because that's my goal tonight. Ron Hawthorne, I actually did this shade of green just so I had a green screen to use, just in case I didn't have access to a green screen, and it's helped during the pandemic because I haven't had access to a green screen. So, Albert, that's actually kind of true. You got really pissed off at the conversation of Bad Bunny during last night's live stream. Did I? Wait, what was last night's live stream? I wasn't there last night. I don't know what you're talking about, Degenerate. I mean, I was pissed off earlier when I talked about it, today about like why people, dislike him being there. I don't see. I never saw that there was a problem with it. And if I was negative about it on the Monday night live stream after the Royal Rumble, I probably was only negative because I didn't do enough research. And now that I've done the research, I realize he's good for the product, and that people are down there. The YouTube numbers are up and stuff like that. I like it. Anyway, can we agree that you guys can keep the snow and we keep the ridiculously hot summers? No, Shop, please let's not. I don't want any more snow in New York. Just get it out of here. I have a Sega stand sticking in my bathroom mirror. That's badass, you're Sinister. Mine are wrestling, Star Wars, random comic stuff, and Godzilla. Yeah, a lot of stuff that I have up here. Also, True Sinister. I personally, I don't care. You can resend all the ones you want. It doesn't bother me. I know sometimes Dave gets mad about that. I don't care. Yeah, Super Ermac. I have a lot of superhero stuff on mine too. Right now, so the way my room is laid out is this is like the main portion of my room, and then past what's next to me, which I showed you what my figures are on, are actually the chimney. Past which breaks up like midway the part of my room, and past that, that's where I have like a lot of my posters and wrestling figures and stuff displayed. And there's a lot of wrestling, superhero, Star Wars stuff like that on there too. True Sinister, stay away from mainstream. Lacoste, yeah, believe me, that's not cool. I would never wear stuff like that. Like that's not anything for me. Cool, guys. I'm really glad that you guys really enjoyed that. Thank God Double A wasn't here. Apparently, that's not a. Well, Degenerate, what did he say? I want to know what Dave's opinion about this is, because I don't know why he's what. Dave's all about numbers, and yes, I know he's really, for some reason, he takes ratings a little bit more seriously than I do. But if you're talking about numbers, I mean, we talk about merchandise all the time. He talks about merchandise all the time. Bad Bunny's pushing merchandise. We talk about YouTube views all the time, and he's pushing YouTube views. So I want to know. I don't know what that is, what that's all about. I don't know, like, if Dave's like arguing about his status as an A-lister. I mean, I don't know who he is, but I also don't listen to that kind of music. My girlfriend knew who he was. She's not a big fan of his. She doesn't like his style of music, but she even said like, oh, I heard he does really good things for like the community and stuff like that. So we like him as a human, and I don't have a problem with it. He's not on Raw so much that like, it's like a distraction. Like he's in what, 2-3 segments and they're quick. I'm okay with it. I don't want another blizzard in the DMV area, and but luckily this winter storm hasn't been too bad after all. Look, Degenerate, look, I don't want a winter storm ever, period. I also have shelves full of Heyman style figures, from official stuff to bootlegs to customs. Takes up a lot of space. That's awesome, man. I like that you have a specific, you have a specific like He-Man collection. Did you get into the Motu WWE one, Super Ermac? Because I have the ring, and that's the only one I got. The first ring, not the Austin and Hogan ring. The first ring. I think I came up with Cena and Triple H, if I'm not mistaken. I have the Motu Macho Man, and I want to get the new Motu NWO Macho Man, but that's just because I have a Macho collection. Paul Heyman or Don Callis? Paul Heyman. And don't get me wrong, this is a negative about Don Callis. I love Don Callis, but Paul Heyman. Since the roads were ice, I got a golf cart and decided to play a real life Mario Kart. Was it stupid? Yes. Was it dangerous? Yes. Was it fun? Very. Shap? Fucking jealous. That sounds awesome. Yes, I did almost completed the series. Super Ermac, that's awesome, man. I love that, dude. Look, so this is something that Harry Flynn's been asking about a lot, and it's something I'm going to do soon. So here's a little bit of a reason why. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a peek into something that I usually don't give people a peek into. In this corner right here, where you see those bags and stuff like that, there's a blank space. That's my ECW figure collection, which I'm trying to get almost all that finished. And that's going to be a work in progress. It's going to be something I'm going to be working on for a while. But in this corner right here, yeah, right? That might be the best way to do it. Here, where these Target bags are and stuff like that. These are all bagged individual wrestling figures that I have that haven't been displayed yet. But in that space is where I'm going to put a display shelf. And once I put the display shelf up, I'm going to do a full tour of my room, which is my bedroom, but theoretically also is my toy room. So once I build that, which will probably wind up not being for another couple of months because one of my best friends is going to help me with it, and I don't want to have to go and do all that stuff like outside of what's it called? Do all that stuff outside in the winter. So whatever. But eventually after I do that, I'm gonna do like a full blown toy coverage of my room, all my figures displayed and stuff like that. I also make custom AWA style figures. Oh, dude, that's so cool. Look, I have some of the Remcos. I have the LOD. I have who else do I have? I have Jim. I have Larry Zbyszko. I have Rick Martel. I have what are they called? The Lone Riders, the something Riders. I can't remember their names. I have a couple more. They were really big when I really started collecting, but I like LJN. And Shap, by the way, I totally missed this. The reveal for Smash was cool, but I'm not a fan of Xenoblade, so I don't know who they are. I'll wait to see what I went up working into eventually when I Lone Runners. Thank you, Super Mac. I wound up seeing what I wound up working my way into, at that point. How they are. I'll make the judgment when I play with them. I mean, obviously, I was excited for Sephiroth, but I wasn't super excited about this one. But that's just me. Celebrities interacting works better when they match. Snoop and Godfather worked because they were both into the pimp stuff, for example. True Sinister, I get that, but I mean, look what Bad Bunny's doing. He's with, what's his name? For some reason, Damian Priest's name just didn't want to pop in my head. I think that Damian Priest is the perfect fit for him. They're both of Puerto Rican heritage. They both speak Spanish to each other and stuff like that. I think he's the perfect guy. Who else is there? What were they going to do? Put him with Kalisto? That doesn't do anything for me. Bowser's Fury. I haven't played it, Degenerate. I would like to, though. Super Ermac, that's really cool that you have a custom fig fed. You should definitely do more with that kind of stuff. I'd like to see that kind of stuff. Okay, they do. Okay, I thought you were saying they didn't work. Okay, that's cool. Character looks fun, but I don't care for the character. Plus, I know some people that played the game that they wanted them, so at least they're happy. That's cool. Look, I want Super Mario RPG characters in Smash. Like I want Geno and Mallow and stuff like that. Like that's what I want. I know I'm probably not going to get that, but that's it. The Sephiroth reveal was the best thing for Smash Ultimate. The release date in 2018. You're not wrong, Degenerate. Sephiroth is nasty in that game too. He's one of my mains already. Also, how the F does that prepubescent looking kid in the blue steampunk uniform sound like that? Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. That weirded me out too. I want to go to one of those places where you can get an action figure yourself. So it's funny. I actually did have an action figure made of myself. It looks nothing like me, but I did an indie movie back in the day, and my best friend had action figures made up of all of us. So I kind of do. It's kind of cool. I have one in package. I have one opened up. Kind of badass. But I do want like an elite style version of myself. But that's just me. I have a Disney style portrait of my current dog. True Sinister, that is the coolest idea ever. And I think I want to do that with my old dog. I want a bandana D. Look, a lot of people, if I'm right, it seems that Geno and Waluigi are the most requested characters. Yeah, I think they are. Kalisto and Bad Bunny may not do anything for you, but it blows my feeble clerk mind. All right, like I do this all the time. I keep saying that I'm going to get to something, and then I get distracted by you guys because you guys are so entertaining, just as entertaining, more entertaining as me, I think sometimes. So the future of the channel, I wanted to dig into this just really quick for like the next 5 minutes, just before I got to go. You guys did give me a very positive reaction to having Tamara on, and I think that a lot of people have been saying that you want more people featured on the channel. So I have a couple of issues with the idea of featuring more people on the channel. One is that I don't know if I have the proper technology, the way my laptop is right now, to do some stuff that I want to do with people who aren't right in front of me. I don't know if that technology is going to work. I know that we can do it on Zoom. I know there's a way to record it. I'm going to speak to one of my friends about trying to do one with him because we've done a Zoom video with on his stream before. I would promote it, but I don't even want to because it's all my fault. It's nobody else's fault but my own. But he never edited the whole thing, and it is what it is. But whatever. I think I might have talked about it before, but it is what it is. So I've done it before, and he recorded it and put it on his channel. I want to make sure that I have the ability to do the same thing. And I don't want to just depend upon it being on him to say, hey, look, can you record this on your end and then, like send it to me so I can upload it. I don't think it works that way. Like, I want to be able to do everything myself. So I had to figure out the way to properly do that. And once I do that, I will have more people on because I have and I'm not even joking, I have a list of people that have asked me to be on this channel. I had one of my friends actually get mad at me that I put my girlfriend on before him. Like that's how many people I have that want to be on this channel. If you guys enjoy stuff like that, I will do it more, and I will find out ways to do it more. I know that like it seems that most of my live stream stuff gets more views than everything else, so that's why I've been live stream heavy. I've also been having this issue where, and this is what I've been talking about, like, and I haven't really dug deep into this. And Harry's not here, so he's not going to get the gist of it. But hopefully, he goes back and he watches this over and he realizes that the reason why it's hard for me to edit on my laptop right now is that if I go and I try to edit right now, everything is choppy and it doesn't run smooth. So I'll hit the space bar to run the video, and it'll be like that for a little bit, and then it'll go back to where it was, and then it'll free up for a little bit, and then everything will be fine before it starts repeating again. And that's how I have to edit. You know how infuriating it is to listen to that, and it's me listening to myself, which to me, I listen to myself talk all freaking day, so I don't even want to listen to myself. But then on that, making it longer is really dragging me down from editing. But I will say that I have half of Harry's video edited right now, and I will try to upload it, this week. I do have a Twitter, Super Ermac. I'd love to follow you to see your stuff, as a matter of fact. I was going to ask you if you did, and I got sidetracked. That's my Twitter. So follow me, and I will absolutely give you a follow back. So yeah, so that's the way that that's how I want to structure the future of this channel, is to go to be able to edit more videos and to do more videos that I did like that, like doing reviews and stuff like that. Because look, the live streams have been getting decent numbers. The last one, I mean, the one that Tamara was on got 68 views, and look, I'm going to be honest with you guys because I love you guys. I don't care. To me, that's like one of the top 5 numbers on my channel, which to me is criminal because I think that what I do here is geared a lot towards more people, and I just don't think I'm getting enough people to to come there. And that's just me. I'm not getting enough people to come here. And word of mouth isn't doing anything because I don't think my videos are bringing anybody here, because I think the interaction between us is what brings a lot of you guys here, doing the live streams and stuff like that. And I think that selfishly, on your end and on mine, I want to keep the community a little bit smaller because you guys aren't jerks. And I appreciate talking to you guys and AJ Envoy and Harry Flynn and all the other guys that are usually here, during these streams. So, growing it, we see the way that certain people get on Dave's streams, and I don't want to be the guy who keeps blocking people and stuff like that, but I will if people get on my nerves. Don't get me wrong. And people are just aggravating to me, I will. But I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to limit the audience and limit the eyes that are on, everything that I'm doing, because I don't have the numbers yet. But for 68, streams, I did an old school review a couple of months ago. I'm sorry, a year, over a year ago, about 1992 Super Bowl that got that did a big number. Thank you, Super Ermac. As soon as I'm off the stream, I'll follow you right back. My initial video that I did, the first video I produced solely for my YouTube channel, was a video about Sasha Banks that I did with Dave, and that got good numbers. I did a live stream that got over 300 views at one point, and I thought that was like my wheelhouse. That's going to be like my niche, Degenerate, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you being here. So what I really want to know from you guys is, what do you want to see? Tell me what you want to see more of, and I will try to do it. If I got to deal with the hardship of having to edit myself to do these videos because you want to see them, I will. I'll put forth the effort. Just like a lot of it has to do with the fact, and this isn't going to sound fair, but look, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys because you guys are my audience. I work 40 hours. Outside of them working 40 hours a week, I have responsibilities at home. Like, it's been snowing and stuff like that. I'm the only person who can shovel. I have responsibilities, you know, as being a boyfriend. I have other things I have to do that hinder me from working on this channel all the time. But if you guys want to see more videos like that, I'll do it. But I need to know what you guys want to watch, and I also need to know what you guys want to see, and that you're going to bring to your other friends and say, hey, I just watched this video on Albert's channel. You know, watch this, you know. So all your followers on Twitter and all of your followers on Facebook, Instagram, to get people to come and watch, you know, to watch me and make this to be a destination for more people. So if you guys can, you know, let me know, that would be awesome. Look, I know I'm talking to 4 of you guys right now, so it's not, I'm not going to get the most wholesome of opinions here, but it doesn't have to be right now. It's in all honesty, don't give it to me right now, unless you know for a fact of, you know, what you want. Think about it, and the next time I do a stream, I want to see if I you know, I put things out there. If this is, you know, ways that you guys want to go. Do you want to see more streams of just free flowing and talking like we're doing now? Or do you want to see me, you know, come on and do a stream about a specific thing that we can discuss? Or do you want to see me do a video about a specific topic we can discuss? Let me know, and I will try my best to do things. Like, I've tried to make this channel like a little bit different. I did an unboxing that didn't do well. I've done like certain videos that I thought were going to really do well that didn't. I did videos that I thought were just for fun. So, you know, it is what it is, you know, like, and they drew much better numbers. You know, I did that live stream on Thanksgiving just to say thank you guys for being here all this time, and it got over 300 views. So I'll try, but I'm basically the only wrestling fan in my immediate friend group. Shep, no, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. I get that. That's totally cool. I'm not expecting you guys to promote for me, but what I am saying is that if you do have friends that are wrestling fans, and I'm doing stuff that you guys like, I just want to know what you guys would take to them. Even if you don't, I want to know what you guys would take to, you know, to everybody that you know, to show them, you know, what I'm doing. So, okay, Super Ermac, I appreciate that too. I really do. You know, if that's the case, that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. I get it. I'm not like, again, I'm not trying to tell you guys to promote my show for me. Hey, King, what, man, Base Up, you just, you know, just change your name every other day, huh? Unfortunately, you got here right when I'm ending, so I feel bad, but it's, thanks for stopping in. And 8 likes. I think I had a total of 8 people on here at one point, and I guess almost everybody liked it. So very much appreciate it. Is that what Harry chose for you? I didn't know. Did you guys make another bet where Harry had to choose things for you? Damn. Me not being on Dave's streams are really, hey, I needed to reinvent myself like Jericho. I appreciate it, King Base Up. I do. Or King Base now. So, yeah. So if you guys can just let me know what you guys want to see more of, cool. And I will do my best to deliver. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to edit, promote your show for you. I'll do it. I'll tell 2 people. They'll tell 2 people. That's like 20 right there. Exactly, Super Ermac. King Base Up, thank you, man. I appreciate it. 9 likes. Look, I that's all. And I tell everybody this to say the same thing. People ask me all the time. They're like, hey, you do YouTube. How can I support it? Just subscribe. Just subscribe. And if you see me do a video, watch it for 3 seconds, hit the like button. Like, I don't even care if you don't even watch what I say. If you do that, that helps me. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Base Up and Harry did a challenge in which if Base Up lost, Harry got to choose Base Up's name for a couple of streams. Oh, one called Raid Shadow Legends fan. Dude, it's fine. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. I appreciate you. Look, you've been on here and you've been interacting. That's just as important with me. So, yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. So, I'm trying my best to get more videos out to you guys. And I'm trying my best to stream more. I wanted to do it weekly. And, it looking like every 2 weeks seemed to be in my wheelhouse a little bit better because, like my schedule seems to be a little bit up in the air right now because of work and stuff. But if Dave can't do the Monday night streams anymore, and that becomes like my thing, if you guys want to join me over there, that's great. We'll try to do that every Monday, and I'll try to also record more stuff for you guys to make this channel a little bit more interactive. I want 2021, I want this channel to grow. And if I can double the amount of subscribers, which would just be another 100 subscribers, and if I can double that number, I feel like I'm going in the right direction. If I can get more than that, you guys are at the ground floor of something huge. And, I very, very, very much appreciate that. But more than anything else, I very much appreciate you guys always stopping in, always being so interactive, always being so positive, leaving the toxic negativity at the door, and coming here and discussing wrestling and being fair and respecting each other and myself and each other's opinions. That's the only thing I can ask for as a host. It's the only thing I can ask for as a wrestling fan. I have the best, this corner of this channel is in my opinion, the best, least toxic corner of the internet, and I love each and every one of you for it. So thank you guys for everything that you do, for being supportive to me, and for letting me entertain you guys. Thank you guys for being here. And hopefully soon I'll be able to do more stuff and more interactive stuff that you guys like. But if you guys want to, like I gave my Twitter handle out before, if you guys want to tweet me what you guys want to see, please do. If you want to hit me up in comments on videos of what you want me to see, please do. But this channel's to entertain you guys. So the more things that you like about it, the better it'll be for everybody. So again, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being here. Thank you guys for being here for this stream. And I will see you guys next time. Appreciate you all.